What's going on, guys? Extremist Models here, back at you with another video. In today's episode, I'm going to be doing a how I made the monsters video. 3 of these 4 builds went with me to Acme this year, and I was completely blown away by the amount of people who asked about the builds and how I did them. They garnered probably as much or more attention than the 2 main builds that I took with me to the show. And I just wanted to come on here and give you guys a kind of a rundown on what I did to change the chassis up, especially with the maximum destruction trucks. The Gravedigger truck is basically kit stock for the most part, but we'll go over that one, and then I'll show you guys what led into making the Xtremis monster truck, which is kind of like my little shop truck for the YouTube channel and for Instagram. So stay tuned, guys. Let's get on into it. All right, guys. So let's get on into it. We'll start off with Gravedigger. Obviously, Gravedigger is by far and away the most popular and probably the most important monster truck in all of monster truck history. I know that, you know, a lot of the Bigfoot purists out there will tell you otherwise, but yeah, sure, Bigfoot was the first monster truck. That's a fact. You know, Bigfoot's the one that basically started it all. But Gravedigger is the monster truck. There would not be as much popularity in monster trucks if it were not for Dennis Anderson and the entire Anderson family, you know, doing the Gravedigger thing. So you got to give the name its dues. But the kit that I used, I don't have the box here with me, but it is the AMT Gravedigger 1/25th scale kit. We'll pull the body off so you guys can take a look at the chassis. This was the standard for a Gravedigger chassis at the time that this kit was manufactured. I'm not necessarily sure what year it was. I know that it is an older Gravedigger chassis. This is not a modern CRD chassis like you would see on a monster truck now, or PEI or CRC or anything like that, which we'll kind of get into that in a little bit. But yeah, this one's mostly built box stock. The only thing that I don't like about the stock Gravedigger kit are the wheels and the planetaries. They're not correct. They don't look anything like a Monster Jam wheel looked for that time. I don't know what they were going for, but it was completely incorrect. So what I did is I found one of the 1/24th scale, I think it's a Spin Master 1/24th scale monster truck on eBay for really cheap. I can't remember which truck it was. And then I just took the wheels out of it, cut them all the way to the back of the planetary, and then grafted them onto the other side of the wheel backs that work with this kit. And lo and behold, they're basically the perfect size. And this is a much needed update for this kit, and it looks a lot better than the stock wheels do. But other than that, this kit is basically box stock minus the addition of the plug wires. I went in and added a distributor, and then found a diagram for big block Chevy wiring and where they needed to go. So the plug wires are ran to the correct cylinder. But yeah, this was the first one that I did, and you know, I'm really happy with how it turned out. One of the other changes that I made was to the body. I added some more decaling. This was taken from the snap kit and added just to the roof, and then I went in and, you know, weathered some areas like right here and up through here, made it kind of look like it was starting to tear. When I clear coated, I didn't worry about trying to make it look all spick and span, because at the end of the day it is a monster truck, and these things are designed to get absolutely just mangled and destroyed. One of the issues that I noticed straight away out of the box, though, with the decals, the flames on the front of the truck are way too dark. They are way too dark. So I took and loaded up the same Tamiya green that I used on the chassis, and turned the air pressure down on my airbrush, and went in and put some highlights in the flames, and really brought them up. As you can see, there is some cracking in these decals. They are old, but I was fine with it. You know, I think it looks really cool. And yeah, this kit goes together fantastically. Despite it being an AMT kit, it goes together really well. But as you can see, on the inside of the body, there are these locator pins, and on the chassis there are these dowels that come off in just random areas, and you just kind of feel around while you're putting the body on the chassis, and it slips down on there, and that's pretty much how it looks. There are some inconsistencies with this kit as far as the proportions go. I think that the body should sit a little bit further back, and that the nose should be just a little bit shorter. But all in all, it's a really good kit. It's a highly detailed kit, and you know, if you're into monster trucks, definitely check out AMT's line of monster trucks. You won't be disappointed with it. Now, after building Gravedigger, I knew that I had to step up and find a way to build my favorite monster truck of all time. And my favorite of all time has always been, and probably will always be, Max D, or Maximum Destruction. There are a lot of differences in a Max D truck versus a Gravedigger truck. As you can see, there are some key differences between the two already when you line them up. We'll go ahead and pull that flag off there real quick. As you can see, there are some key differences. The shocks are different between the two trucks. The engine placement is different, and there's a lot more detail on the Max D truck, but we'll get right on into that. So, anybody that knows Monster Jam, or knows who Tom Mintz or Maximum Destruction is, knows that the majority of Tom's trucks, except for the trucks that do like international shows, are all front engine trucks. He's, even to this day, he still uses the front engine layout. So we'll pop that off, and as you can see, the chassis on this one is completely different than the Gravedigger chassis. And to create this, I went in and snipped everything from the floor pan up. I completely removed off of the original existing Gravedigger chassis. Everything from the floor pan up has been removed. So I found some photographs online of a Mintz chassis and bought some styrene, and then that led me to another little, you know, thing that I had to take care of, was actually finding a Max D body. And at first I had no clue that they even existed. I thought that maybe, you know, I'll have to have one 3D printed, and then I'll have to have Slicks or somebody possibly make some decals for it, or whatever, you know. I had no clue that Revell had a 25th scale snap type version of my favorite monster truck. So what I did was I bought the body, and I went in immediately and found a place where I could put some alignment pieces, you know, just some pieces of styrene here and here. You see that groove in there? That's used to align this body to the chassis. And what I did was I laid those in, and then I started figuring out, you know, how to build this chassis based on some photographs that I found online, which there actually are not a lot of photographs out there of a Mintz chassis. Now I know that this is different than an actual Mintz chassis in a lot of ways, but it's close enough to work, and it's close enough to allow this body to work with this chassis. And then the only thing I had left to do, which actually wasn't very difficult, was figuring out a way to move the engine from the back to the front like an actual Mintz truck. And the only thing that I needed to do was take the drop box here with your batteries and your hookups for your axles, which are the same, or your drive shafts, excuse me. They're the same from the front to the back. Spacing's the same. Your pins where everything plugs in are exactly the same from front to back. So all I had to do was turn this around, so everything that was over here is now over here, and then that allowed me to reorient the direction of the engine. And then what I did was, along the bottom, you can see, let me find something to point at this so you guys can see. Grab a pencil out of my little box up here. Alright, so as you can see, right here, there we go. Right here and here are two more bars, and these come directly off of the sides of the oil pan. All I had to do was go into the front of the chassis where the engine sits and drill out my little holes where those pins could slide through. Drop this down a little bit. Where my pins could slide through, and that allowed me to plug the engine in. If you look right there below the header, you can see the two holes where everything pins in. And that allowed me to completely move the engine forward and put it in the front like you would see on a Mintz chassis monster truck. And then, as you can also see, the blower hat had to be sanded just a little bit to miss the front. But that pretty much worked out. And then from there, you know, Mintz uses a lot of coilover setups instead of your traditional full gas shocks like everybody else. And the snap kit has some really nice coilovers. And all I did was, actually the cool thing is these are the exact same length as the shocks that were supposed to be on the original Gravedigger kit. I added some pins in the bottom and in the top, drilled them out where they needed to be, and during mock-up I just had to plug them in, and that's how they ended up working out for the for our shocks. And then I went ahead and moved the fuel cell into the correct location for a Tom Mintz truck, using some styrene rod in here to help get this seated. And then I just went in and plumbed everything with lines from, I believe, Gopher Racing is who I got all the fuel lines and the wiring and stuff like that from. But as you can see, the engine is also, like the Gravedigger truck, the engine is also plumbed and wired, but this time it is very, very much more detailed. We've got our plug wires ran to the correct cylinders, and then to take the detail up another notch, I made all of the wiring for the gauges, the starters wired, the battery, it's all wired. If you look underneath the floor pan, you can see all of the lines for like your fuel, for the radiator, the transcooler, stuff like that. But I tried to get this one as close to a Mintz chassis as humanly possible, and I'm impressed with it. I'm pleased with it. I think it turned out really nice. Now that we got our phone back in the right location. But as you can see, this body just sits right down on the chassis just like that. And yeah, that's how that one turned out. The tires and wheels are actually really nice detail too. And if you mic these are 66 millimeters, which in 25th scale would be 66 inches. So these are correct as well. And these also came from the Revell Max D Snap Tight kit. And then I just went in and detailed them out like the real truck and weathered them up. And yeah, I'm happy with how those turned out. You know, a lot of monster trucks will go through stages or phases where they run different color bodies for like special events and stuff. And this right here is the standard, and what you would see on a Max D truck will be like the silver body with the spikes nowadays. In 2018 at the World Finals at Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas, Tom Meents had his 15-year encore with Max D, and he put the silver body to the side and debuted this, which is the kind of like the hot rod of the bunch, I think they call it. And it's flat black. It's got the two-tone flames with chrome spikes, black wheels, and chrome bead locks. You can't really see the wheels that well, but this chassis, we'll keep this one kind of brief. This chassis is built 100% identical to that one over there. I did all the same things on this truck that I did on that one, and yeah, as you can see, it's basically exactly the same, minus the colors and the lack of sponsors on the side. I didn't really feel like that was all that important, but yeah, we pretty much did exactly the same thing. For this one, it's all scratch built from the floor pan up to mimic a you know, kind of mimic a Meents chassis, and then work with this body, which also has a little bit different style of locator brace, I'll call it, but this body is interchangeable with that one. You can flip them around, not that you would need to, but as you can see, this one just sits right down on there just like so. And yeah, I'm really happy with how that one turned out too. Now, that led me into making my own monster truck. This is the Xtremis monster truck. This one had its show debut at Acme this year, and I've been asked a lot of questions on how I did this one. If you look, there's a really nice rake to the body where it sits low in the nose and high at the back, which is a common thing that you see with pickup monster trucks now, especially ones on the Monster Jam circuit, like trucks like Bad Company, Wild Side, Obsessed. A lot of those, like the Black Pearl, they all have that really nice classic old school rake to them, and I knew that I wanted to replicate that with this. And this truck, again, started out as a Gravedigger kit, which will kind of take the Gravedigger kit and set it in the background so you can see the differences. I went in and completely hacked off everything from the floor pan up again and replicated a modern CRD chassis with some you know, little PEI chassis replications in it as well, but it's mainly a CRD chassis. I looked up a bunch of photographs online of the CRD chassis trucks and tried to get this one as close as I could to those, whilst also fitting around the cab and bed of the Mobius 70 F100 donor kit that we used for the body. But again, everything is scratch built from the floor pan up, and that's basically a CRD chassis, or CRD upper, we'll call it. And then I went in and added all the clear styrene like I did on the 2 Max D trucks to replicate the Lexan that you would see. It keeps the drivers from getting hit with like rocks and stuff like that while they're driving. And then we went in and made some little makeshift RII lights, which is your remote ignition interrupter, which is what they use to shut these trucks off if they get out of hand. And then I just went in like I did on the Gravedigger, the Max D trucks, and went in and added wiring for all of my gauges. The RII system is wired. It's all of the computers and what have you on board have been wired. And one of the additions that I made to this truck and the Maximum Destruction trucks also, which I did not go over earlier, if you look right there, you can see the rear steer switches, which are not present on the Gravedigger kit. Those had to be scratch built and added also. But yeah, we went in and wired this one out and plumbed it just like the 2 Maximum Destruction trucks. Again, if you look under the floor pan, you can kind of see them in there. Really nicely done, if I do say so myself. I'm really happy with it. But again, a nice big distributor in there. It's all wired, fuel systems in, everything as far as the trans cooler, that's all plumbed, radiators plumbed, fuel cell, the whole nine. And to get this all to work, as far as the body to chassis joins are concerned, I made these 2 posts here like you would see on the Gravedigger kit, and then I made these 2 at the back. The 2 at the back just sit right along the inside of the bed, which has been one-pieced with the cab, as you can see, and completely opened. And then there's a locator up front with these 2 holes in it. And then this just sits on there like that. And then you shift it forward and set the front locator into the chassis, and that is pretty much how that goes together. Another cool feature that I wanted to add to this truck, as you can tell, these are not your traditional monster truck style headers. These are the Arius, I don't know how to pronounce it, headers, and they are magnetized. It's my first time magnetizing an exhaust. If I can get that to focus. There it goes. First time magnetizing an exhaust, and they just plug right onto the side. And the reason why I did that was in case I ever decide I want to change these one day, I can just pull them off, magnetize another set, paint them, and just slap them on there, and they're good to go. So I will be building a couple more trucks that are identical to this in terms of the chassis and body, but they will be in different colors, and they'll probably be some different names and what have you. But yeah, that's going to do it for the construction of the Xtremis monster truck. Now, as far as the paint, the final color, if I can find it here, is Tamiya XF56 metallic gray, and this is a really nice metallic color. And I just went in and cleared it with X22 thinned with Mr. Color leveling thinner. The decals I used were, or at least for the skull part of the decal, were the Cody Barkledge Firebird Pro Mod decals, and I thought that they really lended themselves well to the overall theme of the truck. And then we just carried the purple around the feathers into the limiting straps at the front and rear, and those are the only 2 areas you'll see the purple color continued. They're printed by Slicks Decals. Slicks is always great to work with. These decals adhere amazingly. They are really thin. They're really durable, but they're really, really thin. And they stick almost immediately. So if you're working with Slicks decals, make sure that you've got these things where you want them before you even so much as breathe on them the wrong way, because they will lock down and you will have a hard time moving them. Again, Slicks decals for the sides, those come with the ones that are on the hood, roof, and the tailgate. Now, these decals that I used for the side for my name, Xtremis, each letter is an independent letter that I got in a set by a company. Let me see if I can dig these things out real quick without tearing my entire work area apart. Let me see, where did I put them? You know, I don't remember. I don't think they're in here. Actually, they might be. I think I just set that right there over to the side. There they are. I found them. All right. So for the name down the side, Extremis, each one of those letters is an independent decal, so you can pretty much come up with whatever you want to. And I got those sets from a company called Bedlam Creations, and as you can see, they offer these fonts in different sizes, from pretty big all the way down to some really, really small ones. If you decide to go this route for any reason, you step down to these, my heart just absolutely bleeds for you, and you are the man. But as you can see, there's some different fonts here. I'm not sure if these are from Bedlam Creations. I don't think they are. I think I got these on eBay. But these will be used for another product or another project. But yeah, as you can see, these are some really, really nice letter decals, and they go on really nicely. But as far as the highlight color for this truck, I went with another combination from Gravity Colors, and it is a Lamborghini based color. And yeah, we got it. For all of the orange highlight colors, as you can see the metal flake and the beadlock there, the color that we used was a 2-part color combination from Gravity Colors, and it is Lamborghini's Oroncio Zanto. You spray your undercoat first, which gives it kind of the base. I don't know why they call one the undercoat and the other one a base coat, when this one is more like a base coat and this one is more like a highlight. But you lay your orange down first. Doesn't take very long to build this color up, and then you filter over it with this kind of like a clear yellow metal flake. And the more of this that you add, the more shiny, if you will, the more lustrous, I guess, the more luster you're gonna have from the orange underneath. But as you can see, the bead locks, the 4-link bars, and the sway bar ends are done in that color, and then the shocks are just done in the orange part of the paint. So, but I believe that is pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. Again, guys, these kits all, at least 3 of these kits went with me to Acme this past time, and I had a really good time out there with everyone, and I appreciate everybody who came out to take a look at some really awesome models. We had an absolute blast. To everyone who wanted me to do a video on this, I appreciate it. But that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this one. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave me some comments or shoot me a message over on Instagram. If you guys enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell so you stay notified on any and all of my new videos coming out. Please like, comment, and share, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Take care.
Yeah.